Troublesome, disruptive, bouncing off the walls. We can all imagine that one unruly kid in our primary class who was constantly being reprimanded by the teacher. And guys, I'm pretty sure they looked a little bit like her. In many ways, I was that kid that you imagined. I was talkative, I did a million sports, and sometimes after dinner, I would have so much energy that I would run circles around my house for hours. My mom is here today, she can testify to that, but in many ways, I was not the kid that you imagined. See, for every unruly student, there's a hidden side that you may not see. I was the kid who hated taking tests, but loved doing presentations. I was the kid who hated doing homework because I would just stare blankly at the paper, feeling like my brain was stuck. What I would soon learn is that I had ADHD. What is ADHD? ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is a neurological disorder categorized by three main features according to the NHS: inattentiveness, impulsivity, and often hyperactivity. But what causes these features to show up in the way that they do, and you guys saw before? Dopamine. So, people with ADHD have high levels of the neurotransmitter dopamine. And according to the National Center of Biotechnological Information, dopamine is really low in people with ADHD. So imagine you have to do something tedious, let's say cook a long dinner, do the dishes, or write an essay, or maybe even write a 15-minute TED Talk. Dopamine will help you keep going through those things and let you feel satisfied once you're done. But with people with ADHD, that isn't really there in the same way. So writing an essay can go from Googling, my topic, to did Shakira get cheated on? She did, by the way. Or doing the dishes seemed like an abusive punishment. Dopamine is low in these people, which causes the characteristics I talked about before. This is why it's imperative to understand the disorder for both people with it and without. For people without the disorder, you can see that annoying kid in a restaurant who's bouncing around the walls just can't help it. He's desperate to spike those dopamine levels. For people with the disorder, this misunderstanding can cause a sense of shame and confusion. I was 16 when I got diagnosed with ADHD. That's me on the left, by the way. Before that, I struggled to understand why I was procrastinating and lazy and distracted. From family members to friends, everyone recognized these symptoms in me. I mean, studying felt like torture. When I was taking the SATs, the test that would determine which universities I got into, I had 3 songs stuck in my head at the same time. Even for my birthday one year, I would get these wind-up teeth that chattered because I talked so much. These are all indicators of the disorder. But females with ADHD face a stark underdiagnosis. So my worries were minimized and my struggles were put away as laziness. In an academically rigorous high school, I thought that these symptoms were just what I thought were an IQ gap. Basically, I just thought I was truly stupid and I had reached the maximum potential of my smartness. Even when I was that little girl that you saw before, I would have to stay in from lunch with my teacher to finish all the work that I couldn't finish during class. Staring out the window at my fellow 7-year-olds, I felt like there was something irreparably wrong with me because I wasn't like that. When I finally got diagnosed, I realized that that isn't the case, that I was just different. But when you get diagnosed with ADHD, I'm not sure if many of you guys have, they're going to tell you something like, okay, well now you can get over it, right? Or now you can start overcoming it. Or even, you're going to defeat it. You're going to defeat ADHD, as if it's some weird mole on the side of your arm. But the thing is with ADHD is that it's unmutable. Not only because I literally cannot stop talking, it's been 5 minutes, I think, but because ADHD is a part of me. Maybe while getting rid of it, I could meet deadlines more or show up to class on time. which I'm sure the Dutch would love. But getting rid of it would take away some unique assets I have as an individual. Studies by the American Psychiatric Association show that people with ADHD display higher levels of creativity, innovative thinking, and problem solving. So, we must start getting over this whole thing of canceling ADHD, overcoming ADHD, but rather embracing it and creating your own path. The first step to this is putting shame to the side. So, as a show of hands today, who here came on bike? Wow, okay. And who here came on train? Okay, perfect. Those here who came on train aren't any better than those here who came on bike. Sorry, guys. Everyone arrived here on their own unique path and showed up to the same exact place. And hopefully we're enjoying this conference all the same. I mean, there's free food, so how could you not? Any deviance from the norm must be reconsidered as a positive thing for society, because that deviance in creative thinking will help our modern, cutting-edge, innovative society grow and progress. The second part is putting shame to the side and embracing yourself fully as a method of self-advocacy and storytelling. Me sharing my story today will not be the same as the next person you hear talking about their ADHD. But honestly, I've been extremely, extremely grateful for the compassion I've received and the resources I've received from people around me. But I shouldn't have to be fortunate to be accommodated while having ADHD. Society must readjust to fully consider and encompass the things that people like me can bring to the table. I was once ashamed that I was that little girl that you saw before, and the little girl you thought in your head, and it was like, she's so annoying. But I now try to live my life with compassion, understanding that that little girl is trying to find her own path in a world that doesn't fully accommodate to her needs. Learning to live your life uniquely and authentically is key to understanding yourself and cherishing the act of living. Let go of misconceptions, embrace yourself fully, and let the unmuting begin. Thank you.